All right, brothers and sisters. I mean it, dude. What I mean by I mean it is I mean that this is gonna be a real video. Here we go. We got a little ukulele. Lakaluki. Ikaluku. This one right here is man a ukulele. Okay. Oh heavens. Heavens, man. Clear up there in the heavens. When we have a ukulele, it can be just percussion. We take one instrument, we got 1,000 things going on. Ideally, we don't get like a ton of like saliva on the strings. That could potentially. That's not something I want. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that nice and firmly, brother. All right, folks. As I said at the start, you got so much potential with just one little thing here. I've been beatboxing since I was just a wee little boy. I was probably around 12 or 13 years old in junior high school, like 7th grade, as far as I'm aware at this current moment. And that's what I do, man. I just walked down the hall, and it started off with just like a, well, what was that beat? It was like a common beat that was, you know, maybe not even that like complex, if you will, meaning just so simple. And then from there you just kind of like mess around, brother. You know what I love to do is that little, like it's like you're scratching a scratch scratch a disc. you know, like you can just put your words into it. So if I'm speaking, I can keep it going with the wordplay. It's mad, bro. I'm good at beatboxing. Welcome to In the Image Clothing Company Music. My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. We discuss the human body, allow it to just like, you know, do its thing. Seriously. Through clothing mostly, it's the only thing placed on us. And then we also address things like flat things, like this fretboard before I put a radius in it. And the saddle and the nut. So, you know, we discuss things like that, allow the body to work. In the Image Clothing Company, because we are all designed universally in the image of our living God, who is Jesus Christ. We love music here as well. Me being the founder, because so far In the Image Clothing Company is just me. And whoever else is like checking out what we do, but as far as a team, it's just me for now. So I just want to do a little bit of an introduction to the percussion. For real. Because we might have a lot of it in here. I don't know though. I'm gonna plan on getting a guitar, and by I'm gonna plan on it, I mean I know that I'm gonna get a guitar. I'm gonna get another guitar, brother, and it's been a while since I had one, but I've had a lot of them, and I've discussed this a little bit. If you've heard anything from in the image music clothing, you know. So basically we're back as far as I'm at with making it's music. One thing I'm going to say about percussion as far as beatboxing, which beatboxing, let's give a little definition out of my own words. Beatboxing is like making noise, percussion with your own mouth, right? With your own voice, but not your voice, but just like the articulation, you know? When you're doing beatboxing, brother, it really helps for your body to be in alignment. And my body has not been in alignment for many years. But that's what we are as In the Image Clothing Company when it comes to the human body. We just allow it to work. We allow it to stay centered. Right? So, my body is in a different kind of position that has been in forever, basically. Pretty much never been in this type of position. This amount of centered. Physically. Right? So, beatboxing, a lot of breath in and out, right? In and out is how you beatbox, you know? It's a lot of in and out breath. So, you know, a lot of stuff with your teeth, a lot of stuff with your tongue, a lot of stuff with your, you know, your throat, your neck, breathing, a lot of stuff with your whole body, your shoulders, your core. There's a lot with a lot. And a lot of that is stuff that you ideally have your body pretty darn centered to be able to do. And so check you out In the Image Clothing Company. For real. My mother just spoke. So yes, we are In the Image Clothing Company. This is my introduction to percussion. Something popped on the screen. However much percussion you hear within whatever I do, when it comes to music, here we go. I know how to do percussion very quietly well. Pretty good at it, actually. All pride aside, if we're being real. So yeah. I'm really good with percussion. That's my background in music, freestyle, when it comes to metaphors and word plays, and percussion. A lot of that, like I just discussed, junior high, mostly is where my beatboxing goes back to, and then I've done it a lot. Practice makes usually you a lot better. I've had a lot of practice, and yeah, I'm good at it. So yes. Anyway, yes, stick around. This is the launch of the percussion, man. Whatever that comes about in and ends up being, well, we will see. We'll just see, bro, because a lot of percussion doesn't necessarily have to come out of my mouth. But I just hear the tempos, I feel the tempos. I got a whole kind of thing with tempo, bro. Like me and him, the tempo and I walking hand in hand. Meaning just so in tune with tempos, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. So yes, this is the intro to percussion. Got a lot of things to share. Got a lot of things to share with you. I mean, you can mix it in with everything that you do. Sometimes I'll start talking in a tempo. I start talking so fast every now and then, and it, a lot of freestyle rap is my background, and so I'll just start like speaking on tempo. Oh, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah. Now you do. I love it. It's gonna be so cool, bro. Yeah. Yeah. Gosh. All right. We got a lot of preparation that we do with certain things in our lives. Sometimes things take years to prepare for. Sometimes things take a little bit of time to prepare for. Sometimes things seem like they're never going to happen. But there's like a lot of necessary pretense, if you will. A lot of necessary steps to get where you're going. And now we're almost at the starting line. We're never gonna get anywhere in this life. I mean that, and I mean it out of encouragement. This life is not about getting anywhere. It's about getting closer to Christ. And so, no matter what you want, or where you want to go, or what I want to do, or what he wants to do, or he could also be she. Whatever we want is about just surrendering to where we're at. So I'm just gonna make music. Because the cool thing is, when I have guitars, man, when I get a guitar in my hand is what I mean. I don't need multiple necessarily, unless that ends up being something that's going to benefit us in some kind of way with this whole thing. But when I have a guitar in my hands, properly set up and good for what I need and things, then I can do percussion, like beatbox and play and stuff, and it's really great just to be able to like hear the tempo and just stay in it, but like be all over it at the same time. I'm like this, dude. It's like I'm swimming through the tempo as I'm going. For Rizzle, dude. All over the place, but on tempo, but sometimes off, because a lot of times it's just all unpredictable, so stick around if you want, but you don't have to. But I'm gonna do what I do, no matter what. Yeah. And that's the thing, you know, is I don't care if I ever get to even make another video about percussion besides this one. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's no kind of joking thing, no kind of hopeful thing, no kind of like, let me sound like I'm a good, like, you know, person. I mean it. I don't care if I ever make another video about percussion after this one. So this whole intro to percussion might just be the only percussion that you ever hear from me, besides just like me playing a guitar. You know, it's always that, and I just did an In the Image Clothing Company podcast episode 20 yesterday, and I talked about that, how I don't care, bro. I mean, you know, we got all these expectations, but who knows, maybe none of them will happen. Maybe I don't even get to, just for the sake of like I die tonight, you know, stuff like that. So I don't know, I genuinely don't know, but I do want to give this whole introduction to percussion, because then wherever it goes, and if that's no farther than this, then cool. But as I've said, within a lot of content for In the Image Clothing Company as of late, as in recent times, like the past week or two, I got this thing will mute music, where I can't leave it, bro. It just like, music's like a whole thing. It's intertwined within me. I don't think about it. I don't. It just comes through me, man. I just feel it. It's like it's not anything that I'm doing. It's just like it's me being expressed. And I think you can kind of tell that just the way that I'm doing what I'm doing when I'm doing the things I'm doing. You know what I mean? So, bro, as I said, today's the 18th of December, 2024. My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. We will have cool clothing. When I say cool, I mean cool for the sake of it's letting your body do the only thing your body does. Staying centered, fitting correct, made out of 100% natural materials. But we got a lot of stuff, man, as far as on like the main area of our company. Like, this is the music side of things. We got the podcast side of things. The main area of our company, we've got a lot of stuff as far as I discuss the anatomy of the human body, and I show how clothing needs to let it work. The keyword's always allow when it comes to the human body with what we talk about at In the Image Clothing Company. So so yeah, dude, as you can tell, my heart is full when it comes to being around anything that has to do with music. Staying out of the world though, right? Being in, not of. Being in the world and not of the world. I don't like secular music. I like things that are just different, man, and everything we do is centered around the gospel of Jesus Christ. And that doesn't necessarily mean, I said this, you know, it doesn't mean that we're gonna be like throwing out verses every minute of, you know, of scripture. That's not what I mean. But the gospel of Jesus Christ is the truth of all things, and the gospel is a mindset, the gospel is a feeling, the gospel is a state of being, the gospel is an intention, and the gospel really is just intertwined in everything. And we just need to look at things to the best that we can with an eternal perspective and seeing things as they are. So when I talk about being centered around the gospel of Jesus Christ, yeah, we all need to get reeled back in, man. It has to happen with all of us, and that's something that happens with music. You know, music's something you can easily get carried away with, especially when it comes to, you know, the way that the world looks at music. So we're gonna have a whole separate thing here, bro. Stick around if you'd like to. Check in every now and then if you'd like to. But this is In the Image Clothing Company music. Again, I love music, and I got a lot of approaches to do when the music thing. So hang out, bro. So hang out. I didn't start playing guitars till 2023, but I've been beatboxing, like I said, since that would have been around 2012, 2013. I've been rapping since 2018, maybe. You know, a lot of practice with freestyle rap, wordplay, things like that. So, you know, percussion's the foundation of music, because you have to count music out, right? Like, you gotta have a beat, or else, you know, I mean, that's just how music's usually structured. I mean, anything could be music, really. Essentially, anything can be, but yeah, this is the introduction to percussion. And even that in itself is an alliteration. So I've been in this hiatus, as I've mentioned, you know, this little separation from music. And recently, it's been like 2 or 3 months that we haven't seen to make some beats. Nah, it's been a little while though. See, I love it, bro. We can just go from any point, and all of a sudden, got a song straight out. Yeah, I haven't had a guitar in a few months. Haven't really done much beatboxing even in a few months. Haven't written a rap song, like actually put one together in a couple years. Probably wrote about some more stuff. Really, dude, how funny is that? Probably right around the same amount of guitars that I've had is the amount of rap songs that I've written, which is like right under 20 for both of those. I've had 19 guitars. I think I've written just about that many songs as far as like fully put them together, rap songs, you know. A lot of those I don't have anymore. A lot of them were just, well, the point is I used other people's beats with all of those, and unless you really, you know, get permission to be like putting out music with other people's stuff, a lot of times there's complications that could potentially happen within that. So, you know, percussion. Yeah. Percussion is the basis. Percussion is percussion. Percussion, bro, is something that I'm very good at. And I'm grateful to be, it's a talent. You know, we're given talents. I've talked about this, you know, and this is within the gospel of Jesus Christ. We're given talents and we're given things to share, things to use to help other people, use to uplift other people, you know, because a lot of times stuff like, you know, music doesn't really like help people in the sense of like helping them cross the street, you know, the elderly woman with the cane crossing the street. But music can help people in actually ways that are in a lot of ways more intimate alliteration. You know what I mean? There's a lot that we're gonna do when it comes to music, and I had to have this little necessary separation. There's a lot of theme of that within the gospel, necessary separation, and that's something I've talked about quite a bit, but we'll talk about that more, and a lot of that will be within In the Image Clothing Company podcast. But yeah, I've had a little bit of a, you know, kind of step back, figure out what's going on, and then here we go, you know. And as I've been saying, it's like it's time. I don't want to get some kind of expectation, but it feels like it's time to launch. So yes, you know, there's a lot that I was doing wrong, definitely. A lot that I was doing wrong, a lot that I was doing wrong, and a lot that I was doing wrong. I was approaching music in ways that were worldly, and I was doing a lot of things I shouldn't have been doing. You know, I had to get kind of stopped and turned around. Topsy-turvy, stop me, turn me around. And here we go. I got the green light. Yeah, dog. I feel like I'm a mixing machine, you know? You know, I feel like I didn't live through the 90s. I was born in 1999, but you think about the 90s, dude. That's what I think about when I think about like people who do a lot of like mixing, you know? I feel like it's 90s. I don't even know if that's like when it was the most common for people to do that kind of stuff, but that's how I think about it. And so like I feel like I'm some kind of kid in the back of a room with the hat on like this, cuz this is like an early 2000s type of little beanie. And I don't know. I feel like just all over the place, man, and I like that because it's just freeing, you know? I mean, staying a bit, a bit and bridle, like. No, we got to stay centered with the gospel, but I like being all over the place in the sense of like not having to be feeling like I got to be doing it in a certain way. When it comes to music, you know, a lot of people get pretty darn boxed in with that, man, and they get in the whole industry and thinking that they got to do this, got to do that, and got to do whatever else somebody else is telling them. And when it comes to percussion, man, it's something you can kind of just slip in there and anywhere, you know. And I love being a little bit off tempo. I love being a little bit imperfect with it on intentionally. I like that. I like that. I like that. Imperfect. We're imperfect people, bro. No matter what happens when this goes wherever it goes in the Image Clothing Company music, you know, we're imperfect. No one's gonna be staying on tempo perfectly. No one's gonna be staying on tune perfectly when it comes to singing or whatever, you know. We got too high of expectations for ourselves. And then a lot of times what we'll do is project that onto others and not really realize that that's where that's coming from is, you know, it's within ourselves when things are, when we're looking at things in a way that's not how they are. And if we look at any human being trying to expect them to be perfect when none of us are, then we lose sight of the big picture, because the whole point is to rely on Christ and to know our place, and that comes by just yeah, we're imperfect. We're always going to be imperfect. I think it's cool to like intentionally make music a little bit off, a little bit imperfect, a little bit off tempo, a little bit out of key, a little bit, you know, no, what I mean, like making rhymes that don't quite rhyme. We're imperfect people, but I'm really good at this. So, thank you. Yeah. Cool. 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 I'm just not trying to cut it early. And that's the thing about freestyles, like an aisle. You don't know what you need until you walk down. Just walk down the aisle, bro. Grab some things off the sides as you need them, and if you don't need them, then leave them. You know? Freestyling is the most beautiful thing because this life is a freestyle to us. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know where we're going. We don't know how it's going to end. And we can't predict it. Predict it. Right. Right. What? So, brother, like I'm saying, it's gonna be really cool. You might see a lot of stuff on here that you're like, I think it's gonna be sweet. I was thinking about this. I made some little ukulele snippets a few minutes ago with this ukulele that you saw, and I was thinking about it, like, you know, some of that stuff is like, it seems so weird, and it is weird. Yes, it is. Very much so. But so is all this within this thing. And I think one thing that's going to be really beautiful is when people come across In the Image Clothing Company music for like their first time, if their first video or their first like audio sample of something that they hear is like very, very weird, abstract, off tempo, you know, out there, whatever you want it to be or whatever it is or whatever you want to label it, you know what I mean? Whatever you want to label it as, if you come across something from us at In the Image Clothing Company music and it's like the first thing you've heard and it's like weird, well, first of all, everything that we ever put out is probably going to be pretty darn weird. Weird. But one thing that I want to touch on. Because I'm so good with percussion, I think it's so cool to make a lot of stuff that is just so like almost bad. Because that way it's like, a lot of people are trying, you know, a lot of people are starting out with stuff like beatboxing, and they'll sit there and they'll be like, yeah, I don't know, I'm not trying to, but like really, you know, you're trying to stay on tempo and you don't know what you're doing, because who does at first? Nobody. Who does this whole time we're here? I don't know what I'm doing, bro, but it just happens through me. Like I'm saying, I'm kind of like just meant to be making music. The point with it is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the point, and the point is this. This is the point that I'm trying to say. If I make a lot of stuff that sounds like what people would consider like bad if they were to do it, but then like you see other stuff that I've done, and it's not that like, you know, I've improved, and like you're looking at this stuff and it's like my first stuff. I want to do stuff down the line that's like stuff that people would think is like absolute beginner stuff after I've done stuff that's like really cool, you know, to show that it doesn't matter, dude, because we're just hanging out. Music's just a thing, dude. It's just a thing that comes through you, and however it comes through you, it comes through you. And hopefully it's weird, because that's how it's going to be unique. We don't want to be like everybody else. So, introduction to percussion. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up. I love this, I love this, and I love it again. Like I said, if I never do another thing like this about percussion or what, you know, then at least we got this one. Run it up. Yeah, brother. So, I think we will, though. It's kind of like what I'm saying when I keep saying I'm going to get a guitar, and it's not me trying to say something, but I just know I've been given revelation saying, hey, I've been given revelation saying, hey, you're going to be playing a guitar all your life. I tried to leave this type of thing, yeah, and then I found it in the image clothing company. I found it in the Image Clothing Company, and now we're back with these type of things. We'd like to speak and say some words that sound like this. Ow! Most weird sound at the end, bro. So yeah, we have In the Image Clothing Company music. We had In the Image Clothing Company, and then it was like 2, 3, no, I think somewhere around 3 months into having this. I found it in the Image Clothing Company like, yeah, it was in the fall of this year, 2024. It is the date that I said. I'll say it again as I close this out. But, you know, a few months into this, I'm like, man, all right, cool. You know, we had the podcast like a little bit before, and then I was like told to make a whole music side of things because, you know, I didn't know, like I said, I wasn't quite approaching music the way that I should. And I could have just, could have whatever out of my own doings. But the point is, I'm praying through everything, trying to be obedient, and trying to make this whole thing a lifelong thing, and not just something so that I can get like worldly recognition because like I'm a good musician. So now that we're intertwining it with the company, and it's all going to be a lifelong thing for me, it's something I just couldn't have predicted or couldn't have even had happen before unless I had founded the company. And so taking the break from music and putting a lot of focus into having like all these foundational videos that we now have for In the Image Clothing Company, the point is I needed to be pretty focused to do that, to get my body as centered as it is now, and to learn everything that I've learned within clothing. That had to happen through a time where I was like having no distractions, where I was really focused on like, all right, cool, we're gonna start a company. And I am somebody who's done so many different things throughout my life. I'm 25, and I didn't know where I was gonna go with anything, and I didn't know, you know, I didn't know what to do, man. I don't like to do the same thing over and over, and I don't like people telling me what to do. I really don't. I say it like that because like I don't want to sound like all, you know, defiant. I don't like people telling me what to do. And so working for other people, that's just something that's never worked for me. Yeah. So now we've got this company, and it's going to grow, and it's not going to be me trying to like struggle to make something work because it's not something that is an opinion. It's not something I'm pushing. It's not something that will ever change as far as like I'm saying what we do with the body, for the body, through clothing at In the Image Clothing Company. It's something that will always be the same because human beings' bodies always are the same. Our God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. We are designed as our company name is, in his image. So, In the Image Clothing Company. Here we go. Let's launch this thing, bro. I mean, we've been this for a few months, but now, yeah. Yeah. So, a lot of gratitude, a lot of excitement for music because I've said this within some recent content as well. I kind of feel like the majority of my time is going to be spent with music. Yes, we will have the company. Yes, we will have our clothing. But I think that I'm gonna kind of just dwell inside this music thing. It's been a whole battle, bro, my whole life, and I've discussed that. It's like back and forth, tearing myself up with this whole like, I want to be a rapper, and then I'm done, and then I'm like, I want to play guitar, and then I'm done, and then it's like, like back and forth with all this music stuff, man. Music's the only thing I can never actually leave. As far as up until this point, I could never in the past actually leave. It just keeps coming back to me. And it's kind of like that. Music keeps coming back to me. I don't keep going back to it. Like, desirous to do it. It's like music keeps like slinging a lasso at me, man. Like, hey, I need you. It's like this coupling, music and I, and now that's intertwined with the whole company, in the Image Clothing Company. And like I'm saying, and like we gotta do, centered around the gospel of Jesus Christ. We got no kind of point to be doing nothing, dude, without the gospel of Jesus Christ within everything. And that's the whole thing, is like I'm saying, when I just didn't have the right approach with music before. And that's not a problem, because there was so much like learning within that and practice within that to where now I'm as good as I am at music. And so it all had to happen. Even though it wasn't the right approach at the time, it was the right thing to get me to where I need to be going on, right? As in, I don't mean just, because I don't want to say as where I need to be now, because we're always just now. But the point is where our focus is, where our sights are, right? If you're talk about an arrow and shooting it through a straight and narrow kind of thing, you got to be on a straight and narrow path in all seriousness. So, the gospel of Jesus Christ, the truth of all things. Percussion, man. Percussion to come. Percussion to come. Yeah. And like I was saying, man, I mean, it's actually easier now to be beatboxing because of the we talk about the jaw so often within in the Image Clothing Company content, and how it stabilizes the entire body. We breathe, and either through our nose or the mouth, it goes through the center of our jaw, and, it's speaking, forming words. The jaw is stabilizing the head, it's stabilizing your entire body, it's keeping you centered, and so it's actually so much easier now to do percussion, because before, a lot of what was happening is the more that I was like, because you're doing like a lot, man, of like pretty, I want to use the word intense breathing when it comes to beatboxing like that, and a lot of just like movements with the jaw. And so we always talk about training patternings within the human body, and that's all we're doing to allow the body to work, is getting out of these chronic patternings. So now that I've allowed my body to, again, we're never like done with anything, but now that I've gotten to the point that I've gotten to, and then we'll just continually do all that I can to just get even more centered, and then stay as centered as I can physically. That's helping a lot with just, anything that I'm ever going to do with music, anything that I could ever do. So I'm just sharing, man. That's what we're doing. That's what the Image Clothing Company is, and I'm grateful for it. Couldn't express that too much, couldn't ever say that too many times. And the podcast, especially, something that's so beautiful, because it's something that has no kind of like structure, boundary type thing. Like, you better stay inside this little boundary of like, staying on topic. It's something we sit there and we have discussions on the gospel, and it broadens my perspective and my understanding, and anybody who ever is able to come in contact with it, it's has the potential to do that for you as well. So let's just continue to remember that we're imperfect. We don't, as people, human beings, all of us are equal, okay? The point with what I'm saying. And we don't need to be sitting there trying to get after people for how good or not good they are at music, or, how on tempo or off tempo they are, or whatever, man, or think somebody like fell off because all of a sudden things change. Their approach to things is sounding different. And so to somebody who is listening to it, they might be able to be thinking like, man, they were so good when they were doing this, but now they've changed and they do this. And we're always changing. We're always human beings within this life. That's the whole point, is we're imperfect. That's the whole theme, right? Imperfect music. That's the theme you're going to hear. You're going to see time and time and time again as we travel through this whole journey that we do with music. So anyway, I want to express my gratitude again, and I want to be just open to allowing videos to be as long as they could need to be, and not feeling like it's got to flow, man. In my own doing, I can sit here and preach all I want about we're imperfect and we got to embrace that and just allow things to come and allow things to go as they do. But within my own doings, I got to do all that I can to not be hard on myself with stuff like that. Music is something that it is an outlet type of thing. It's an expressive type of thing. And a lot of times we get the potential to try to please people rather than please God. And within music, there's a very high potential for us to view things as if they should be like blank or like X or like Y or, whatever it is. And so myself, I'm just as human as anybody else, no matter how like good I am with music, for example, no matter how much I know about the anatomy of the human body, no matter how much we talk about clothing and I'm the one delivering the information that's helping people, whatever it is, I'm just as human as anybody else, man, no matter what it seems with anything that I got a lot of practice with or a lot of understanding about. And so on all ends, that's why it's all centered around the gospel of Jesus Christ. And not just like there's a reason why, but that's the only thing that there actually is, the truth of all things. And the only fulfillment we will ever get is by glorifying our God through what we do, through our imperfect natures as sinful by nature human beings. So something popped up on the screen. I'll close this out and then I'm gonna cut this. The phone might slip and fall. That's fine. Thank you. Like I said, 18th of December, 2024. This is the launch of at least the percussion side of things. Pretty much just with saying that, what I mean is the first time that anybody through In the Image Clothing Company music has heard much percussion from me, the founder. So, yeah. Thank you.